Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Really excited to be here. Oh, it's a big crowd. Hopefully, you can everybody can hear me. Oh, the clicker as well. Yeah. Let's see if that works. Ah, there. Okay. I'll need to stand here so I see if I'm clicking away. Matej Janež, the head of BD at Oasis, and today we're going to be diving into WT3. And the title says, right, the agent you don't need to trust. And this is one crucial point that we at Oasis, see as one of the pillars that we need to continue to uphold in crypto, right? That trust is not needed and everything is verifiable. And I'll run you through a quick thing. We're launching this today here, and it's going live right now. And yeah, let's dive into it. If we go a step back and look at the evolution of crypto, right? There were many different crypto trends from NFTs, metaverse, play to earn, right? SocialFi, meme coins, where it was probably the latest, biggest trend. There was all the hype last year. I think it died down a little bit, but we can see that none of those really stood the test of time as good as DeFi has, right? So DeFi came in 2020, had its big boom in 2021, and then it kind of died went a little bit into the background. But if we look at the TVL, right, it's still over 100 billion. The peak was around 200 billion, and we're going back to that peak. So we can see that DeFi really is one of those cornerstones of crypto. And it makes sense, right? People are drawn to things that is going to make them money. And of course, everybody thought that walking with Steppen, will make you infinite amount of money. But in the end, we saw that it was just inflation and it wasn't sustainable. With DeFi, we actually have sustainable use cases with lending, borrowing, with trading, providing liquidity. So this definitely is one of the core pillars of crypto moving forward as well, right? And with the crypto AI projects, right, coming in, let's say more towards the end of last year with the whole AI agent craze, we saw, that there is still some work to be done, but there's a lot of potential there. So for me, the DeFi, how it was coined now, right, it's kind of the winning combination for crypto, right? Why is that? It's as we said before, it's one of the best use cases, right? But people are still not comfortable utilizing it day to day, right? They're not sure, if they're going to get exploited. What are they signing? How are the things working? How are the protocols working, right? Something like Pendle can be very complicated, for certain people. So this is where AI can come in and solve a lot of those issues, right? So we have one is executing commands, right, through, let's say, a unified interface where if we have like an agent that you can interact with the whole DeFi ecosystem through that agent, it really simplifies the UX for the user, right? AI can also help find the opportunities within DeFi, right? So it's not like you need to track a bunch of aggregators or a bunch of different websites to see where is the best stablecoin yield or where is the best arbitrage opportunity, right? This is something that your agent can help you with. It can also massively help with, evaluating potential security risks, so finding you the projects, the protocols that are audited, or for instance, or they have the reputation needed for you to be confident to put your money in, right? And this is where we see AI and AI agents, especially, as a potential solution, to enable crypto basically to be utilized by crypto and non-crypto users, right? By simplifying that UX. So what's the promise of DeFi or DeFi AI? So it's speed and efficiency, yeah. It's tireless operation. Agents can work 24/7. It's complex pattern recognition, right? You have so many different platforms that can give you data insights, market insights, even social insights, right? And can aggregate that to trade off of, right? It democratizes the sophisticated trading strategies, right? So you're able to employ something that maybe before only, trading prop firms or hedge funds were able to do, right? Because with AI, you get access to all of those compute resources. But the main thing, right, is the transparency and the verifiability of DeFi, right? Because without that, it's basically going back to your normal standard TradFi, right? If you don't have the transparency or verifiability, you're going back into the same bubble, right? Of trusting the counterparty with your money, and then that counterparty can honestly do whatever, right? So this is what we're here for, right? Not forgetting the decentralized in DeFi AI, right? So with the rapid market evolution, that demands fast development. The projects then take shortcuts to deliver, right? And the shortcuts oftentimes make the compromises right with the trustlessness and decentralization, right? Because those are the difficult parts. It's easy to build an app, that handles everything on a server. It's difficult to create the app that does everything trustlessly, and there's no big latency around it. There's no UX hurdle there, There's no complex overhead, with operating it. And this is, where we see that users in the end here need to trust the projects to not rug. And with our frameworks, we want to promote that trustlessness where, the devs can easily develop in a trustless manner and the users don't need to trust anything. And here we come to the WT3, right? The agent that you don't need to trust. So WT3 is the first, true trustless AI trading agent. It operates autonomously while proving integrity. It's built using Oasis on-chain and off-chain confidential computing environments. So we have ROFL, which is for off-chain, and Sapphire, which is for on-chain. I'll go more into details further, but just to get us started. And this enables execution integrity, data confidentiality, and remote attestation. Everything here is done through TEs, right? So if we go through the basic components, it's Oasis ROFL, runtime off-chain logic, or rolling on the floor laughing, whichever it's easier for you to remember. That takes care of the integrity and verifiability. Then we have the Imperial Agent SDK, which we use for the X engagement. Then we have Ocean Predictor, which is part of the trading signal suite that we use for the trading strategy. And Hyperliquid will be the first trading venue for the agent, but we'll be expanding further later on. So if we dive a little bit deeper into the individual components and how it works, right? This is just a diagram. So basically, we have WT3. This is all deployed within the ROFL app, right? ROFL app is your secure enclave. This is where everything basically happens off-chain and gets verified on-chain. The Predictoor, the Hyperliquid, Nebi, Imperial, all of these are services that are plugged in, right? And you can see there that this agent is meant to bring some value back to the Oasis ecosystem as well, because this is let's say an agent launched by the Oasis Foundation. So it's going to be, with the trading profits, it's going to be buying back rows and burning it. So we're bringing some value back to Oasis through our development as well. But yeah, if we look at the scheme, and let's dive into the individual components to understand better what they're here for, right? So ROFL allows the development of custom off-chain logic, right? The apps that will be easily verifiable on-chain through the remote attestations, right? But the thing is, that it's not just about the remote attestation. Anybody can do the remote attestations, even from an AWS or Azure cloud service, right? The important thing is that you anchor it to something, right? So we're registering all of these apps on Sapphire, and all the changes within the enclave are automatically submitted through the Sapphire on-chain, right? And then you also have the reproducibility, right? So with a simple function of Oasis ROFL build verify, you can verify that the logic within the T that's running matches the remote attestation that's registered on-chain, right? So all the policies are registered on-chain, and that is key here. Verifiability is key. But to make it easy, right, this ROFL framework abstracts away all the complexity of the TE management and the verifiability, right? So people oftentimes, devs oftentimes, when they come to TEs, right, they don't want to really bother with that. They just want to run the app. And that's how it should be, right? We're here to abstract that away. And this is where the ROFL marketplace comes in, or how we call it the Oasis TE cloud infrastructure, right? Where you're going to have compute providers being there to offer confidential compute to potential developers, and developers only need to submit basically Docker Compose files, either submit them as a compute job, so somebody picks it up and runs it, or choose a provider and run it with them. And this is all that they need to do to have confidential, trustless computation, right? It's as simple as basically running something on Azure. The marketplace is going live in June, so next month. This has been deployed a bit more manually now, but we are getting there quite fast. So yeah, it's going to be available. It's already available on testnet, but yeah, so you can test it out. But mainnet is coming in June, and then people can easily deploy these ROFL apps, these trustless apps on this infrastructure with kind of built-in verifiability. I'll touch on the key manager, the integrated key manager from Oasis Sapphire as well. So the important thing here is that because of Sapphire's confidential runtime, you're able to have a key manager directly on chain, and your ROFL leverages that by basically creating the keys within the TE privately, right? So they're never exposed even to the dev. I put except here, right? Of course, the developer can create code that exposes the private keys, but that's the same as a dev putting an exploit in a smart contract, right? Everybody can see that, and then of course, the whole let's say private key security is lost, right? But that is the transparency and verifiability part. Anybody can see the developer is exposing that, so obviously nobody's gonna use that agent, right? But as I said before, you know, this on-chain log of all the enclave invocations by default, the key management, integrated key management by default, or all the tools that developers need to build in a trustless, verifiable manner without the, let's say, security overhead. So to touch on the trading strategy as well, WT3 uses Predictoor. Predictoor is a dApp developed by Ocean Protocol that was deployed on Sapphire. It kind of consists of two components, right? You have the predictor agents and the trading agents. So predictors are submitting they're running AI models and submitting their predictions on, let's say, the top 10 assets, crypto assets by market cap. And they are submitting them in private on Sapphire, and then trading agents can subscribe to those feeds, right, and trade off of them. And this is what WT3 is doing for a portion of the strategy, where it's actually adding confidence to its long or short position by utilizing the predictions from Predictoor, right? Current accuracy is between 51 and 54%, which is quite good if you're looking at, you know, continuous operation and some risk management where the losses are smaller, you know, and the wins are bigger. It actually is quite a good profitable strategy. And maybe to touch on the Imperial SDK as well. So Imperial SDK supports building autonomous AI agents, you know, with skill-based systems. So you can have a DEX screener integrated, ERC20, simple wallets. It actually uses Sapphire for one of their enclave wallets for wallet abstraction and privacy preserving transactions. So this is also an ecosystem project that we like to support as well. And here it's helping us with the X engagement. Imperial Agent SDK is actually behind the Simulacrum agent framework you may be heard of, where you were able to call the agent and the agent would deploy your token for you via tweet or a DM. So this was all the craze late last year, yeah. But I think agents will be coming back, and Imperial here will be what they're building, and also in conjunction with us, with ROFL integrations, it's going to be quite interesting. So do follow along the announcements on X to see more about that. So the W3 roadmap, right now, we are bootstrapping it with 100K of initial capital that it's going to start trading with from our side. And it's going to be trading on Hyperliquid, which is currently probably the most notorious DEX there is to trade on. there were some, let's say, there was some good and some bad, coming from that side. But we believe that Hyperliquid will be here to stay, and it's definitely a venue that it's going to be a very important pillar of DeFi in the future. They did screw us up a little bit with bumping the trading fees just recently. So yeah, it's going to affect our profitability a little bit. But let's see how that affects us long term. And yeah, as I mentioned before, the profits are used to buy back and burn rows to bring some value back to our native ecosystem as well through that. Next stage coming next will be a stake and earn. So basically, right now the agent is closed off from external participation, but we will deploy a staking contract where people will be able to stake their stables to participate in the strategy. The strategy here is private, so it's kept confidential, but it's separated from the ROFL app, so it's containerized. That means that you can still verify the agent operations, that it's running trustlessly, but you can modify the strategy. It's going to be, we're going to be moving towards a more decentralized governance later down the line as well, in terms of people being able to participate in potentially in strategy development and obviously in the strategy kind of potential profits, right, with their own money. So that's the next stage. And then third stage is the launch of your own agents through templates, right? So this is when the ROFL marketplace goes live and we have the templates ready. Anybody can then really easily deploy their own agent and they don't need to trust anybody basically, right? And if they're confident about their agent, they can even, sell it in a trustless manner, right? Keep it private, so the strategy is private, but at the same time can monetize it. So there are a lot of potential use cases here for people that, or maybe they just need to bootstrap some capital, and they have a profitable agent. Anything is possible. And obviously the logic, if you're doing just normal trading, funding rate arbitrages, normal arbitrage. Sorry? For the templates. Yeah, it's probably going to be end of Q2, probably, yeah. No, sorry, Q3, end of Q3. Yeah, so staking contract will be probably live in June. And then, during the summer, we're probably going to have the templates ready. Just maybe it's going to be faster because when the marketplace launches, we can, okay, no, you're right. No, it is Q2. Because when the marketplace launches, templates will be fairly soon, right? And people can then, utilize those templates and easily deploy their own agent. So, probably Q2, not Q3. You confused me a little bit. Yeah, we still have 2 months until end of Q2, so it's Q2. So the future partners of WT3, right? If there's anybody, that has a project that's offering market insights, or if new venues for trading, or even other protocols that are able to generate yield, where the agent can generate yield. The wolf is hunting for alpha all the time, so do reach out to us, and let's see if we can get that protocol integrated with the agent as well, and see it active on your protocol, right? If we just look at some key takeaways from this talk, right? DeFi is definitely the new crypto frontier, at least from our perspective. The future belongs to the agent. They can tick privately, but prove their integrity. WT3 is showing that way. And yeah, come build your next agent with us with our ROFL framework. How to stay connected? So the website is WT3.ai. Its X handle is agent_WT3. The QR is for the website. And if you want to get in touch with me, here are my details, my Telegram X, my email, and our home website if you want to know more about ROFL and the Sapphire. If anybody's still taking pictures, I'll wait. Okay. And yeah, any questions regarding this?
It's not too risky just trade on Hyperliquid?
I mean, we're starting off trading on Hyperliquid. We're going to be expanding to other DEXs as well, for sure. But it's easier to just start off somewhere and then expand. I don't see it that risky. I mean, they have big market depth, right? I'm not sure if you're thinking about the security of the bridge or from what aspect are you saying? Yeah. For now. So that's what I'm saying. Hyperliquid probably is the most recognized DEX, or at least the most talked about DEX right now. They also have a season 2 airdrop, well, for the traders. So the agent can profit from that, right? It's going to be maximizing all the potential yield that it can get, right? So if it's trading, so here the signals are every 5 minutes. That's a lot of trades, right? So potential for a net drop is let's say it's high. So that's kind of the decision process for now. But as I said, it's not limited to just Hyperliquid. We're going to be expanding the venues for sure. We're going to expand the strategies. So it's going to be some stablecoin yield, potentially some looping, some just delta neutral strategies, funding arbitrage, normal arbitrage. We're going to be expanding it. But if we'd be waiting to integrate all of that, before we start, then we'd start end of year, not now. Any other question? Good one, though. Yeah. Nobody's curious about agents. No, joking. Everybody's curious about agents here.
Come there. Thanks. How do you think about risk management within the AI agent framework, right? I mean, at what point do you cut a trader off? How do you if you have a live trader, you can always have limits for him, you can cut him off. How does that work in the AI space?
Yeah, so it depends on just on the level, right? I'm not saying here that, with ROFL, there is still admin control over the enclave, right? And for now, we do have it. We're going to be implementing time delays before you can update something. So when we introduce the staking contract, there's going to be time delays to code updates, right? So as I said, all the code updates are logged automatically on chain. So anybody can see any changes they make. And they're going to be time delayed. So people that are staking money, with the agent can withdraw before the change happens, right? Because the agent needs to have access to those funds to be able to trade with them. If not, it can't generate yield on it. So it's always a level of security and a level of transparency right now, because it's just our money. There's a slightly, let's say, a more centralized approach, but we still can't really change the trades. We can update the whole logic of the agent, but we can't just cut one trade. If it starts going off really bad, we need to update the whole framework really fast, right? Because we don't have the access to the private keys, so we can't log into Hyperliquid and start canceling trades or orders, right? So there is definitely a trade-off here in terms of, how much do you trust the strategy, and how much you trust how you build the logic and how the agent's gonna improve itself, So that's the autonomy part that we're gonna be going towards, later towards the end of the year. But it is tricky. It is tricky, as you said, fully relinquishing an agent to be fully autonomous from the start and giving the 100K capital to trade with. It's like burning money. You see a lot of those jailbreak agents, and how they got jailbroken. I think Freza was one that was actually testing this out, right? So yeah, we're not there yet, but we're going with that approach that we have kind of an understandable framework when it comes to that trust, right? That the user needs to have. Very minimal, we'll say, but we're going towards the vision of no trust needed at all. I mean, it's already no trust needed, but there are some admin controls, because I can tell you from some, I'm not going to name and shame, but from some competitors, right? They're like, you're running this in a TE. Oh yeah, that's great. Who has that? So it's secure, it's confidential. Who has the access to the TE? Who deployed it for you, right? That's the important aspect, right? That's the important part. Who's the admin and who can control the entity? Because whoever controls the TE can extract basically anything they want if you don't verify that they can't, right? So that verifiability is crucial. And if you don't have the reproducibility of the builds, then basically, yeah, you're not doing anything. Just run it on AWS or Azure and be done with it. Not try to make it like it's decentralized, and trustless. Yeah. Any other question?
Can you maybe elaborate a bit more about the trading strategy that the agent is going to employ? I know that you said it's proprietary, but just like the parameters or...
Yeah, I mean, you know how it is with the trading strategies. You lose all edge if you share it, right? But here I will say like this. So we're using some let's say, some normal indicators, and we're using some risk parameters, to make sure that the stop losses are placed in a way that we're not losing a lot of money when we're wrong, and we're making more money when we're right. Predictor here is definitely one of the interesting, let's say, info point. One of the points of information for us in terms of the market, right? Because with the additional, with the confluence of the predictor signal, we have better results, right? In terms of being right. So yeah, I would say look at predictor, to see how it works. And pair it with some normal, risk strategy and some potentially additional indicators, that can help you gauge the market, and you can have quite a decent strategy. Yeah. I'm not sure if this is the end or, I think I'm being cut off. This is the Golden Globes version of get off the stage. Yeah, thank you. Join the Wolf Pack.